Alright, so now we're going to start on the sub-assemblies. And it's been a little while since you've had to assemble anything on your own, so we're just going to take this step by step. We're going to start with the upper die sub-assembly. There's 10 parts to this, and they're all listed below here in our bill of materials. And a lot of these things you did not have to make, I made for you. These are found in your Unit 8 folder under Stock Button Maker Parts, which I've already copied and put into my folder, so I'm not going to be searching through that, but they will be there, and you should save them as your own files. If you try and just use mine straight off the folder, it will not save right. You'll get everything assembled and then have a very frustrating time doing anything with it. So please, for your own sanity, save these as your own parts. Alright, now as far as how to make an assembly, we have to click the drop down, select assembly, and then we have place. I'm going to search for the same things I have here. So I have like upper die center support. I scroll down, there's upper die center support. And if you hold down control when you're selecting these, you can select more than one thing at a time. For example, I know I want the upper die center pin, the outer ring, the center, and the pressure ring because they all say upper die. It's kind of logical they'd be in the upper die sub-assembly. Some of the other things I'll have to look for, they have the little numbers in front of them, and things like the large snap ring, I have to search around a little bit and see where that would be. Large snap ring is number 19. Handle retention roll pin turns out to be 22. Again, make sure you're holding down control so it selects multiple things at one time. Upper die center pin we selected already. Upper die spring we need to find. That's number 30. Upper die outer ring we have. Pressure ring we have. 832 by 0.7 screw. Number 8, 0.7 screw. That's the one. Upper die center we already have, and quarter 20 by 1 3/16 socket head. There's our quarter by 1 socket head. Okay, select open, click these down somewhere, and even though this says quantity 1, I should probably go and check and make sure. Okay, in this case it's right. One of your drawings is wrong. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So let's see what we got here. I think the easiest thing to do when looking at this stuff is to imagine how would you physically put this together. And the first thing you should see is that with this piece, we made it so that there's a, and my computer doesn't like to rotate, at least not while making these videos. Tell you what, first thing we should do, right click on this piece, check it to be grounded. Okay, now let's take a look at the back side of this. We have a countersink on here. It's specifically made to where we can put in this screw into here. It'll be flush, it won't interfere with anything, and this thread is going to go all the way up into this pin. So let's start doing that now. We're going to use Constraint, and our main constraint for all of this is going to be insert. I'm going to say at this edge of this, well no, I take that back. We're going to say that the bottom edge of this is going to be inserted into this back edge here, and select apply. An insert is going to work to constrain both the axis and the surface of the two surfaces that you connect, or that you click on, the two edges that you click on. Alright, so that's the first part. We have the outer ring next. If we look at the outer ring, it's made to where it has a little bit of a divot on the inside here. This is what should be attaching to the back side of this. So I'm going to make again my insert constraint with the inside part and the outside part here. Select apply. This is going to go on top, and this inside part here is going to mesh in with this part here. Apply. Alright, now we now have a spot where we have a screw here. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to go back to a mate constraint. I'm going to mate the axis of this screw. So if you can kind of see, there's a little line that goes through it that I clicked on. Let me hit cancel. I'll show you one more time. Constrain, mate. If I hover, there's a little line that pops up. Select just the line. And then if I can find where exactly, I probably did this a little out of order. Oh, that's one way to look at it. Alright, if I look underneath this, I'm looking now into this part. There's a hole here. I want that axis mated with that. I'll select apply, exit out, and then drag this back out. So it's mated to the axis, but it's not mated to the part yet. I want to flip this around, go back to my insert constraint. I want to say the top edge of this, the top edge of this, and then flip it because it's facing the wrong way. And so now this one screw is going through here and screwing into here, or not this piece, but into the lower die that's beneath it, the center, into the back of this piece. Alright, let's keep going. So now that we have this, it's going to go into the bottom of this piece here, and it looks like I have it, might have it upside down. Kind of looks like it's upside down, so I have to unground this because I actually made this whole thing. Well, no, let's go and ground it. I'll just flip it later, and I'll explain how to do that. Okay, so what I do want is for this part to come in through the small hole, and for this pin to go in through the larger hole. It's going to connect into this shaft here. So I want to say constrain, insert, the bottom edge of this, the top part of that, apply, and so that I can see what's happening, I'm going to kind of swing this out and around. I constrain this axis. This is a mate constraint. The axis of this. To the axis of this. And then if I look at it from a little different angle, I have to look at it right from the bottom. I'm going to say that I have to get just a little more of an angle for an insert constraint. The very back edge of this part is going to be mated to the threaded edge of this piece. Apply. Pick the bottom of this, try and insert onto the top of this part here. apply, and then this little ring is going to serve to keep the spring from popping off. So that's going to attach onto this surface here. Apply. And the last one we cannot do with an insert constraint. We have to do with a couple of different mate and flush constraints. So switch back over to mate or flush. And it's going through the small hole in the top. So I'm going to select just the axis of both pieces. And then to make sure that I get this to be the right size here, I'm going to X out of this for just 1 second. This is not a piece that we made, so I'm going to inspect it, pull out a digital ruler, click on the top surface, click on the bottom surface, and it says that distance is 1.262. Okay. Go back to assemble, constrain, flush these two surfaces, and then offset them 1.262 divided by 2. And that may have to be a negative. And that doesn't look right, so let's try something else. I know from previous experience this is about 0.3. That looks good. I said this whole thing is upside down, so to fix it I'm going to click on just one of my side views, turn it over a couple of times, and then right click on it, set current view as front. Click on the top corner so I see a top, front, right side. Right click, set current view as home, fit to view. And I can save this as my upper die sub-assembly. Do I want to save changes to my other parts here? Yes.